Welcome to Does It Matter by Brainy Ballers, where we dissect the game with cutting-edge analytics to give you the upper hand. We analyze everything from hand sizes to average depth of targets to uncover hidden trends that no one else sees. Say goodbye to guesswork and hello to data-driven domination. Because here at Brainy Ballers, we don't just watch the game, we understand it. So get ready, it's podcast time.
Okay, let's unpack this. It's one of those constant debates in the NFL, right? Does a quarterback's height really matter?
Oh, absolutely. You hear it constantly. Scouts, analysts, everyone talks about needing to see over the line.
And the narrative feels, well, kind of split, doesn't it? You've got your classic tall guys, the Mannings, the Bradys.
Yeah, the prototypes, where height felt like, a clear advantage.
But then, boom, you get guys like Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, shorter players who were just phenomenal, defied that whole idea.
Totally. So does the conventional wisdom hold up? Is the tale of the tape maybe not telling the full story?
Exactly. And that's what we wanted to get to the bottom of with this deep dive. We're going beyond just the usual talk.
Right. We've actually dug into 2 decades of data, looking at the top 30 fantasy QBs each year, 2003 all the way to 2023.
And fantasy points are a great proxy here, right? It measures actual production yards, touchdowns, even rushing value.
Precisely. It covers the impact on the field.
So, our mission today, what do these numbers really tell us about height and success? And get ready, because some of it's pretty surprising.
Yeah, there's this, specific statistical sweet spot that popped out, but the big picture, maybe not what you'd expect.
A sweet spot. Okay, tell me about that.
So the analysis found that quarterbacks who consistently finished in that truly elite group, we're talking top 5 fantasy seasons,
Okay.
they often fell into this really narrow height band, 6'4" and 5/8 inches, and 6'5" and a quarter inches.
Whoa, that is incredibly precise. So being in that tiny window actually correlated with being top tier.
Statistically, yeah.
Yeah.
Looking at all those seasons since 2003, QBs in that specific range made up 30.4% of the top 5 finishers.
30%. Okay, how does that compare?
Well, compare that to the guys finishing, say, 6th through 30th overall. Only 20% of that bigger group were in the sweet spot. And if you look way down, the guys just cracking the top 30 finishers, 26 to 30, only 11.4%.
Wow. Okay, so if you landed in that hyper-specific range, you were almost, 3 times more likely to be a top 5 guy than someone near the bottom of the top 30.
Statistically speaking, yes. That's a really interesting finding from the data.
It really is. But you mentioned the big picture was different.
Right, and this is the crucial part, the thing that really pushes back against the standard thinking.
Do you want to start dominating your drafts? At BrainyBallers.com, we've researched every metric under the sun for you to find which ones are best linked to fantasy points. You can access hundreds of metrics to sharpen your scouting ability so you know which metrics matter and which are just noise. Stop guessing on which thresholds to look for within each metric. Big numbers can be misleading or irrelevant. Our Ultimate Athlete Blueprints reveal essential scouting metrics, their importance and benchmarks within each metric that help predict a player's probability of being a success or bust. Elevate your scouting ability with Brainy Ballers' Ultimate Athlete Blueprints today. Click the link in the description. Now back to the show.
While that specific range showed up for elite finishes, the overall correlation between any quarterback's height and their total fantasy production over those 20 years, it's statistically insignificant.
Insignificant. Like, how low are we talking?
We're talking a Pearson correlation value of minus 0.034.
Minus 0.034. Okay, put that in context for me.
Sure. So in this kind of analysis, usually you need a correlation value over positive 0.1 or under negative 0.1 to even start saying it's statistically significant. It's likely a real pattern, not just chance.
And this was way below that.
Way below. To give you a comparison, the source data mentioned the correlation between a running back's draft position and their production is negative 0.234. That's a meaningful connection.
Okay, so much stronger.
Exactly. Our QB height number is basically noise.
So all the talk about seeing over the line, higher release points, it doesn't translate to overall success in the data.
The logic seems sound, right? Taller guys should see better, maybe get fewer passes batted down at the line. That's the theory.
But there can be downsides to being too tall, maybe.
Yeah, potentially. Longer limbs could mean a slightly longer throwing motion, maybe a bit more vulnerable, and a higher center of gravity that might impact, pocket agility, escaping pressure.
Which is huge these days.
Absolutely. More important than ever.
Okay, so let's recap for you listening. The data shows this fascinating, super specific height sweet spot linked to elite top 5 finishes. But
the big takeaway, the headline from 2 decades of numbers, is that overall height. It's just not a significant predictor of how well a quarterback will actually produce. Height is just, well, one measurement. It's a piece of a much bigger puzzle, and maybe not even a major piece.
which leads to a really interesting thought, especially now, with the way the NFL game is evolving, valuing mobility, quarterbacks making plays outside the pocket. It makes you wonder, how will this whole conversation around quarterback height keep changing? Will scouting priorities shift even more away from just the measuring tape? Something for you to think about.